Hello again everyone, welcome back to the channel, and to part 4 in my Conquest of Britain series. Now last time we looked at Caractacus in Wales, and his extraordinary speech in Rome, and the death of Publius Ostorius Scapula, which you can learn all about somewhere up here. But this week we're heading back to Wales, and talking about the first Roman invasion of Anglesey. After the death of Publius Ostorius Scapula in 52 AD, there was a brief period of time where Britain was without a governor, and during this interregnum a serious defeat befell one of the legions stationed in Britain, under the command of a man called Manlius Valens. But unfortunately we don't know where or when this battle took place, but it does show how Britannia was still in a fragile state. But in the end, Claudius wasted no time in appointing a new governor to Britannia, a man by the name of Aulus Didius Gallus. Didius Gallus was experienced in consolidation rather than conquest, and his time in Britain seems to reflect that, as he seems to have spent more time firming up territory the Romans already had rather than conquering any new territory. During Didius Gallus's time as governor, the legions seem to have been positioned at strategic places, like the 20th Legion at Usk, the 14th Legion at Wroxeter, and the 2nd Legion in Gloucester, all poised to look over the ever-troublesome tribes of Wales. Some scholars believe that it's during this governorship of Didius Gallus that Emperor Nero, according to Suetonius, contemplated leaving Britain altogether, due to its cost in lives and resources and its seemingly limited returns. He was never moved by any desire or hope of increasing the empire. He even considered withdrawing from Britain, and only refrained from doing so out of deference, so that he would not appear to belittle his father's glory. Whether or not Nero's hesitation dates to this period, what is clear is that Britannia remained a Roman province. Before I move on though, one event worth noting during Gallus's governorship is that the Brigantes were stirring up trouble again. There was an internal power struggle between Queen Cartimandua and her estranged husband, Venutius, which caused Gallus to have to send auxiliary troops, likely from the 9th Legion Hispania under Nasica, to sort it out. And with their help, Cartimandua was able to stop the rebellion of her estranged husband. After 5 years, Didius Gallus was replaced as governor in 57 AD by a man called Quintus Veranius, a former consul and also a former governor of Lycia, which is located in modern-day Turkey. Now, he very quickly abandoned the consolidation plan of his predecessor and set out on an aggressive campaign against the Silures of Wales. We don't know if the Silures provoked the conflict or whether Veranius was simply trying to assert Roman authority, but either way, the conflict was short-lived. Veranius died unexpectedly within a year of taking office, and in his will he claimed that he could have conquered the entire province within 2 years, a boast that he would never get a chance to prove. Veranius was succeeded in 58 AD by a man called Gaius Suetonius Paulinus, an ex-praetor who was also a veteran of mountain fighting in Mauritania, more or less modern-day Morocco. He was also the first Roman general to cross the Atlas Mountains, making him the perfect choice for fighting in the hills and mountains of northern Wales. According to Tacitus, Paulinus' first 2 years as governor were relatively successful, likely continuing Veranius' campaigns against the Silures and the Ordovices. His experience of fighting in the mountains coming in very handy in this theatre of war. These campaigns culminated in an assault on the island of Mona, modern-day Anglesey, a spiritual home of the Druids and also a major bastion of resistance in the west. The strait between the mainland and the island was shallow but dangerous, with shifting sands and tides making it difficult to cross. The Roman infantry were ferried across on flat-bottomed boats, whilst the Roman cavalry had to swim or wade across. On the shore, a fierce sight awaited them. Druid priests hurling curses at the Romans, whilst women, all dressed in black, holding torches, were screaming invocations to their gods. This was a terrifying sight, and even seasoned Roman soldiers briefly faltered. But Paulinus was able to rally his men. They charged and drove off the defenders. Now what followed was a merciless slaughter, with Druids, warriors, women all being cut down, and the sacred groves were torn down and burned. Though this was a terrible defeat for the Druids, it was not their final defeat, and despite the fact that the sanctuaries on Anglesey had been destroyed, Druidism would continue to persist in Britain. It is worth mentioning at this point that there is a possibility that a young Gnaeus Julius Agricola, later Roman governor of Britannia and also subject of a Tacitus biography, was present for this campaign. He was serving as a military tribune to Paulinus at the time, and he may have witnessed the invasion of Anglesey firsthand, and then passed on those memories to his son-in-law, Tacitus, who wrote them down in vivid detail later on. After this successful assault, Paulinus set up a garrison on the island. It seemed like a huge Roman triumph, but it was a victory that was short-lived. Urgent messengers turned up in his camp, with tales of the southeast of Britain in flames, Roman towns being destroyed and their populations being slaughtered en masse. The native tribes, following somebody called Boudiccan, had come out in one of the biggest revolts in Roman history. He had to make a critical decision. He abandoned Mona and turned his legions southeast. The Boudiccan revolt had begun. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed learning about the first Roman invasion of Anglesey, and please make sure you're back with me in a month's time when I cover the Boudiccan revolt. But thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now.